All right, so today we're diving deep into some fascinating research on the reliability of AI.
Okay.
You know, everyone's heard about these large language models, you know, like ChatGPT.
Right.
But what happens when these systems get things wrong? Especially in really important fields?
Yeah.
Like medicine or law?
Sure.
That's what we're going to be looking at today.
Definitely high-stakes stuff.
Absolutely. And the research we're diving into today is proposing a pretty interesting solution.
Interesting.
Using AI to validate other AIs.
Oh, wow.
It's called Ensemble Validation.
Ensemble Validation.
And it could really change the game for making AI more trustworthy. And, you know, they found that this could reduce errors by over 20%. Wow. Can you imagine that impact in healthcare?
That's huge.
So,
yeah, the core concept here is really harnessing the power of multiple AI systems working together. So instead of relying on a single AI to make a decision, we can have a whole team of AIs looking at the problem independently and then comparing what they find.
So it's like having a panel of experts reviewing a case.
Yeah.
But instead of humans, it's a panel of AIs.
A panel of AI experts, right?
Yeah, and just like with a panel of human experts, the idea is that while any individual AI might make a mistake, the group as a whole is less likely to reach the same wrong conclusion.
Makes sense.
Okay, so I'm starting to see how this could work.
Yeah.
But before we get too deep into the solution itself, let's take a step back and really understand the problem.
Yeah.
Why is AI reliability such a challenge in the first place?
Well, at a fundamental level, AI systems, especially neural networks, they're inherently probabilistic. You know, they learn by recognizing patterns in data.
Right.
But they can never be 100% certain about their output. It's kind of like a detective gathering clues. They make the most likely conclusion based on the evidence.
Right.
But sometimes even the best detectives, they get it wrong.
They get it wrong. So even with all the data in the world, AI can still make mistakes.
Right.
Especially when they're faced with a situation they haven't seen before.
Exactly. And that's why the example in the source material about the Indian cabinet secretary is so interesting. Different AI models were asked a pretty straightforward question, it seemed. But they came up with completely different answers.
And it wasn't because the AI systems were, you know, dumb or malfunctioning.
Right.
The problem was that the question itself had these subtle ambiguities that tripped them up, like nuances that a human would easily understand, but proved really challenging for the AIs.
Precisely. And that's what makes this research so important.
It
highlights that the reliability problem isn't just about making AI smarter.
It's about making it more robust to the uncertainties and complexities of the real world.
So how have we been trying to address this problem so far? I mean, before this whole ensemble validation idea came along.
Well, there have been two main approaches. One is trying to fact check the AI's output against external databases, like Wikipedia. The other is to use what's called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, where the AI is given access to relevant information while it's working on a task.
So fact-checking against a reliable source and providing the AI with additional context.
Exactly.
Those seem like pretty logical steps.
Yeah, they do.
What's the issue with those methods?
Well, the problem with fact-checking, so even when AI can access all this extra information, it still might misinterpret what it finds. That sounds like we're still relying on the AI to make the final judgment call.
Exactly.
And as we've established, AI isn't always perfect at that.
That's exactly right. And that's why this new approach, ensemble validation, is so intriguing, because it directly tackles that probabilistic nature of AI by looking for consensus among multiple AI systems.
So let's unpack how this ensemble validation thing actually works.
Sure.
We've got the concept, but what are the nuts and bolts?
So in the research we're looking at, they took 3 state-of-the-art AI models. Claude 3.5 Sonnet, GPT-4o, and Llama 3.1 405B Instruct. And they gave them the same task in a multiple choice format.
So it's like giving the same quiz to 3 different students and seeing if they come up with the same answer.
And if all 3 models agree on the answer, the output is considered validated. But if there's any disagreement, that raises a red flag.
So it's not just about getting the right answer, it's about making sure the AIs are thinking clearly and consistently. But is this approach foolproof? I mean, are there ways an AI could, like, trick the system?
That's a great question, and it gets to the heart of why this research is so groundbreaking.
Okay, let's dive into that a bit more after a quick break.
Well, it's true that no system is entirely foolproof.
Right.
But the beauty of ensemble validation is that it can expose inconsistencies.
Oh, okay.
That might indicate a problem.
A problem like what?
Like an AI hallucination.
Oh, right. AI hallucinations.
Yeah.
That's where the AI just presents information that's just plain wrong. Like even making things up.
Yeah, it's like it's telling us about a dream it had.
Right.
As if it were real.
Yeah, and the concern is that these hallucinations can be so convincing.
Yeah, they can be very convincing.
Even to people who know a lot about the topic.
That's right.
So how does having multiple AIs help with that?
Okay.
Wouldn't they all just share the same hallucination?
Well, that's where the diversity of the ensemble is important.
Okay.
It's unlikely that multiple AI models, all working independently, would generate the exact same hallucination.
So, by comparing their outputs, the system can spot inconsistencies and red flag potential fabrications.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a built-in lie detector for AI.
Yeah.
I'm curious, though, does it have to be a unanimous decision from the AIs for something to be considered valid?
Good question.
What if like 2 out of 3 agree?
Well, they did experiment with that. Call it a relaxed consensus approach.
Relaxed consensus.
Yeah, and even with just a 2 out of 3 agreement rule, they could still get a precision of 86.9%.
Wow, that's still a big improvement.
Yeah.
What's the downside of going with that more flexible approach?
Well, the trade-off is that you increase the risk of accepting a false positive. So the system might validate an output that's actually incorrect. So it's a balancing act.
Right.
Trying to be flexible enough to catch most errors, but also maintaining strict enough criteria to avoid validating too many inaccuracies.
Especially in fields like medicine or law.
Right.
Even a small error can have huge consequences.
Exactly. In those high-stakes scenarios, minimizing potential harm is the priority.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That brings up another point.
Okay.
One of the limitations you mentioned was that these AI models rely on existing knowledge.
Right.
So what happens when they're faced with very recent information or situations that are constantly changing?
Well, that's one of the key things that they're working on improving.
Okay.
Imagine giving the AI access to a constantly updated library of information.
Right.
So they're exploring ways to integrate external knowledge sources into this ensemble validation system.
So the AIs can stay up to date.
Exactly.
Even on rapidly changing information.
That's the goal.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What about the speed of these systems, though? It sounds like using multiple AIs could be pretty computationally intensive.
You're right. Speed is another critical factor, especially for real-time applications.
Yeah.
So they're actively working on optimizing the process to reduce that latency.
Reduce the latency.
Make it more practical for situations where you need quick responses.
So they're working on making it faster.
Right.
And more adaptable to new information.
Exactly.
What are some potential real-world applications of this technology, then?
Okay.
Beyond the obvious ones in healthcare and law.
Well, think about education.
Okay.
Imagine a system where AI tutors could personalize lessons for each student, adapting to their learning pace and style.
Yeah.
Ensemble validation could ensure the accuracy and the appropriateness of that educational content.
It could revolutionize how we learn.
Yeah.
And what about more creative fields, like writing or design?
Well, their ensemble validation could help with brainstorming, content creation, and even quality control.
Interesting.
Imagine multiple AIs working together to generate ideas, refine drafts, and just make sure that the final output meets certain criteria.
So we could see a whole new wave of AI-assisted creativity.
Potentially.
All these possibilities are pretty mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's exciting.
But before we get too carried away thinking about the future,
let's
bring it back to our listener.
Okay.
Why should they care about all of this?
Well, AI is becoming more and more intertwined with our lives.
Right.
It's everything from the recommendations we see online to the medical treatments that we receive.
Right.
AI's influence is growing so rapidly.
And as its role expands, the reliability of these systems becomes even more critical.
It does.
It's not just about AI making our lives more convenient or efficient anymore.
Right.
It's about making sure these systems are making sound decisions that really impact our well-being.
That's right.
Yeah.
And ensemble validation offers a path towards building safeguards into AI.
Okay.
So we can reap the benefits,
yeah,
but also minimize the risks.
So it's like putting safety belts on these powerful systems.
Exactly. It's not about fearing AI.
Right.
It's about ensuring it's used responsibly and ethically.
And this leads to another interesting point that was brought up in the research, this potential training dilemma with current AI development.
Yeah, the research highlighted a really interesting tension.
Okay.
In how we're training AI models right now. We're constantly trying to improve both precision and accuracy.
Now, those sound pretty similar.
Yeah.
Could you unpack the difference between those two a little bit?
Sure. So you think of it this way. Precision is about how reliable the AI is when it says yes.
Okay.
So if an AI identifies something as a cat, how often is it actually a cat?
Right. So it's about minimizing false positives.
Exactly.
What about accuracy then?
Accuracy includes both positive and negative predictions. So it's about how often the AI gets it right overall, regardless of whether it's saying yes or no.
So it's a more holistic measure of how well the AI is performing?
That's a good way to put it.
So where does the dilemma come in?
Well, the challenge is that current training methods often create a trade-off between those two goals.
Okay.
If we emphasize precision too much, we risk creating models that are experts in a very narrow domain.
Okay.
But they struggle when faced with anything outside their specialty.
They become hyper-specialized,
right,
but also very rigid in their thinking.
Precisely. And if we broaden their training to improve overall accuracy, we often see a dip in precision. So they become better at generalizing,
right,
but more prone to making occasional mistakes.
So it's like training a dog to fetch a specific ball versus recognizing all types of balls. The more general the task, the greater the chance of error.
A perfect analogy. And this dilemma highlights the challenge of developing AI models that are both precise and accurate.
Okay.
That can handle both specialized tasks and unexpected situations.
And it sounds like Ensemble Validation could offer a way out of this dilemma.
Potentially, yeah.
Right.
By using multiple AI models, each with their own strengths and weaknesses, we can potentially overcome this trade-off.
So we can have a team of specialists, each bringing their expertise to the table.
Exactly. And if one AI stumbles, the others can step in and provide a more comprehensive analysis.
That's a pretty fascinating concept.
It really is. It's a paradigm shift in how we think about AI development.
Okay.
Instead of searching for a single perfect AI, we're building systems that embrace the strengths of diverse AI models working together.
This has been a really enlightening deep dive so far.
It has.
We've uncovered the complexities of AI reliability, explored some really promising solutions, and even delved into some ethical considerations surrounding AI development.
Absolutely.
It's been great talking about this with you.
I've enjoyed it.
Now let's wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
By looking at the broader implications of this research and what it could mean for the future of AI. So we've been talking about this whole idea of ensemble validation. And how it's really changing our approach to AI reliability. It's not just about making AI smarter. It's about building systems that kind of acknowledge and account for the fact that AI, just like humans, can make mistakes.
And that's so important.
Right.
This research really highlights that we need to shift our focus from creating like a single perfect AI to building these systems that use the strengths of multiple AI models working together.
So it's about embracing diversity in AI.
Exactly.
Recognizing that different models might have different strengths and weaknesses. It's like building a well-rounded team with a variety of skills and perspectives.
Absolutely. And this approach doesn't just make AI systems more accurate and reliable. It also helps to lower the risks associated with those AI hallucinations.
Right. Those times when an AI presents incorrect or just made up information.
It's like it's so sure of itself.
Right.
But it's just wrong.
Yeah. Because if one AI model goes off on a tangent, the others are less likely to follow suit.
Right. It's like a built-in safeguard.
Yeah. But this research also brings up some bigger questions. About the future of AI development.
Absolutely. Like one of the key takeaways for me is that this approach could really change how we design and use AI systems.
How so?
Well, we're moving away from this idea of a monolithic AI that knows everything toward a more collaborative model. Where different AI systems specialize in certain tasks and then work together to achieve a common goal.
It's like moving from a solo act to a full orchestra.
Yeah.
With each instrument playing its part to create a richer, more harmonious sound.
I like that analogy.
And this shift has some pretty profound implications.
It does.
Not just for the technology itself, but for how we interact with AI in our everyday lives.
Exactly. Like, think about the potential impact on healthcare.
Okay.
Where AI could help doctors make more accurate diagnoses and treatment decisions.
Right. Or in finance, where AI could help us manage risk and make better investment decisions.
And in education, AI tutors could personalize lessons for each student's needs and abilities.
The possibilities really are endless.
They are. It's exciting.
But with all this potential comes responsibility.
Right.
As we give more decision-making power to AI, how do we ensure they're used ethically?
That's the question.
And for the benefit of everyone.
It's a crucial question. And it's one we need to keep thinking about as AI keeps advancing.
This research gives us a starting point, though.
It does.
A framework for building more reliable and trustworthy AI.
Yeah, but it's up to us as a society to make sure these systems are developed and used carefully.
With their ethical implications in mind.
Exactly. And the potential impact on people's well-being.
It's a good reminder that AI isn't just a technological advancement. It's a reflection of our values and our goals for the future.
I agree.
It's about using this powerful tool to create a better world.
A world that's not just more efficient,
right,
but also more equitable, sustainable, and just.
And that's a future worth striving for.
Definitely.
This has been a really thought-provoking deep dive into AI reliability.
It is.
We've covered a lot.
Yeah.
From the technical details of Ensemble Validation to the bigger ethical and societal impacts of AI development.
Absolutely.
It's been great exploring these ideas with you.
I've enjoyed it.
And for our listeners, we hope this deep dive has given you a better understanding of the complexities and potential of AI.
It's a complex topic.
As we all move forward in this rapidly changing world, let's remember to approach AI with curiosity, critical thinking, and a commitment to using its power for good.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.